Hey, Crestwood, happy Wednesday to you. Hope you guys are doing great today. I'm having a great day. I'm excited. I'm going to get on an airplane here in a few hours and fly to Des Moines, Iowa, and then drive about an hour to Grinnell. And I get to see my daughter Molly and help move her stuff to storage and pack up a couple suitcases and bring them back here while she prepares to go to Eastern Europe for 8 days as the finale of her Holocaust class, and then back here for a little bit, and then up to Chicago for an internship. It's crazy summer, but I'm excited to get to see her. I haven't seen her for a few months and can't wait to spend that time with her. And what a blessing to have people in our lives who are so special to us, and pray that you get to enjoy those relationships today as well. I'm honored to bring you this devotional for this Wednesday, May 15th. Our Bible study group on Thursdays, we meet Thursday at 11, and we just finished studying the book of Genesis, making our way through all 50 chapters of that book. It is a fascinating book if you've never read it. It's really interesting to not just hit the high points, but to go chapter by chapter and see all the stories that are peculiar and comforting and challenging all together in that book. It's one of my favorite books because the characters in there are just unbelievable, how God continues to work through such flawed people in order to bring about God's blessing. It certainly gives me hope that if God can work through those flawed folks, God can work through someone flawed like me and you as well. The book ends with the story of Joseph. You may be familiar with it because of reading the Bible, or because of Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. Not completely theologically off the page. I think it's worth a watch. The group's actually going to watch it tomorrow as a way of reviewing it. One of the things I love about the Joseph story is a line towards the very end of it. Is Joseph and his brothers are reunited after they had sold him into slavery many years before. And Joseph said to them, you know, guys, you intended something for bad, but God turned it into something good. And I think that word just resonates with us so much today, because there is so much we see in this world that we feel like is bad, that is going wrong, whether it's decisions we've made ourselves, whether it's things that have happened to us or our loved ones, whether it's just the state of the world. It seems like that there are a lot of people in our world today who are intending something bad. But what this book reminds us, what this story reminds us, is that God can work through all circumstances to bring about good. There are so many times in the book of Genesis where it looks like God's blessing, which he gave to Abraham, had come to a dead end. Something happened and there was just no way that the blessing could continue. But God always makes a way. God always finds a way for that blessing to continue, even in the most difficult of circumstances. I want you to remember that you have been blessed by God. God has put a blessing on you, a calling on you. God has anointed you to go and do God's work. Now, there are times in our lives where we feel like that blessing has come to a dead end. That blessing is just knocked up against a stone wall. But we worship a God that rolls away stones. We worship a God that can take any situation, no matter how bad, and bring good out of it. The line from Romans 8 just resonates with me every day, that God is at work in all things to bring about good. It doesn't say God causes all things, but God is at work in all things. The good things, the bad things, the challenging things, the frustrating things, the things that cause us fear, despair. God's there. God is at work in all of those things. And God is working tirelessly to bring about something good. There's so much in those situations you don't control, but what you can control is how you look for God in those situations. Where is the good taking place in the midst of the challenges? Where is the good happening even when everything seems bad? I promise you God is there. That's the promise that we get from Joseph. That's the promise that we get from Romans. That's the promise that we get when Jesus Christ walked out of that tomb. There was no worse situation than God's Son dying on a cross at the hands of the empire. Talk about the ending of a blessing. You don't come back from crucifixion. And yet, hope, the defiant nevertheless, as the theologian said, reminds us that Christ walked out of that tomb resurrected. And because he did that, God can resurrect anything in us and anything in our lives that we feel like is at a dead end. So, Christopher, I want you to think today about something that's really causing you fear, despair, that's really got you down, where you just do not see a way out of it. You don't see an end in sight. You don't see how God can bring something good out of this. And then I want you to remember that what the world might intend for bad, God can intend for good. If God can resurrect Jesus Christ from the dead, God can resurrect hope and new life in your life as well. That's my prayer for you today, Crestwood, that you just stay focused on what God is doing in your life, the good that God is doing. And the more we stay focused on that, the more our vision is opened up to see all the good that God is doing around us. Don't give up hope, Crestwood. Be the defiant nevertheless of God's love and grace in this world. God bless you, Crestwood.